Epic Gaming Night is sponsored by Tasty Minstrel Games. Make sure to check out the Tasty Minstrel podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. This podcast is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Thanks for your support. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Kenny, and with me as always is Rob.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going. It's been a crazy day.
Awesome.
Crazy day.
Yeah,
how about you?
We've actually we've actually hung out already today once. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of the day, and then back to work in the grime, and yeah.
Then the rest was all just work.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's all I'm gonna say without getting in a rough mood.
Well, we are going to talk about our top 10 space games today. Hype.
Yes, mine are top 10 space games that I've played. I think there'll be other games that I like more, but these are games that I've played.
Yeah. You just gotta play the rest of the space games, Rob. Get you up to snuff on all those space games.
And I do have a question for you. Are these games that have like space theme, or they're primarily in space? Because there were a couple games I left off that have like aliens and stuff in it, but I was like, but it's not.
I think
in space, so I didn't.
I think most of mine fit the like space theme, but I'm not gonna be too rough. I mean, if there's spaceships and planet type stuff involved, that's what I did for the most part. I mean, I'm not gonna go too hard on you if you're all like, and this space show, like if you pick like a Star Wars game where they're like on the ground, I'm not gonna be like, no, that's not. I don't know. It still seems pretty spacey to me, but you know.
Well, like I didn't do level 7, any of those games.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I was like, it's all on Earth, and so.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Well, I guess let's get right into a little bit of news we have here. So there was a board game that we talked about. We had Isaac Vega on the show, and he sent some people out to get us because he wasn't allowed to talk about this game at the time. But Raxon is actually coming to like retail now. They're actually going to bring it out to game stores, and you can be able to like buy it like on their website without having to go through the back door and all the other crazy stuff on their website now. So I wasn't quite sure that they were actually going to do this, like completely release it, but they've announced that, hey, it's going to be out and everybody can get it now. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it was smart. Great marketing tool to get everybody talking and interested in it. And now, get it out there for mass consumption.
Yeah. So yeah, Raxon is that like very puzzly, like abstract move your guys around, but it's very much steeped in the Dead of Winter, like zombie apocalypse is just starting sort of theme. It's like a prequel to Dead of Winter almost, as these zombies are starting to break out, and you have the shady Raxon company trying to boss everybody around. So it was fun. It's very interesting little game as you move the guys around. So good times.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know I texted you a link to this, Rob, but I don't know if you actually got a chance to look at it. There is a game from, I think they're called Panda Cult Games, called Barnacle Bay.
Oh, the animals?
Yeah, all the crazy animal miniatures.
Yeah.
So there's this game on Kickstarter right now called Barnacle Bay, and it's like a dungeon crawl, but it's got all these anthropomorphic animals, and it's got like really great miniatures. And I got a chance to demo it at Gen Con, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it has a lot of, I mean, it feels a lot like a dungeon crawl, but he said like the campaign through the dungeon crawl is going to have like multiple choices that can lead you to different map setups. And I just really like the way the miniatures look in this as all the different animals. I don't know. Did you get a chance to look at those at all?
I looked at some of the pictures. It looks cool. I just
too many Kickstarters, I'm sure.
Yeah, right now. Too many Kickstarters.
I got a chance to paint up like one of the little turtle guys.
How did that happen?
They let me take home the little turtle guy or whatever from Gen Con, and I said I painted up for him or whatever when their Kickstarter launched. So I'm like, hey, cool. So I painted up. It's like this tank guy. He's like a turtle with a like giant shield and like a hammer. I have the alternate sculpt version where he's like missing his arm. And it's like all bandaged up. So he just has a shield, no hammer for the alternate sculpt. At Gen Con, they were selling a bunch of alternate sculpts versus the ones that you could get in the Kickstarter. But it looks like the Kickstarter's already funded and they're like getting a whole bunch of stretch goals.
Didn't they fund in like a day?
Yeah, some of the guys that are working on this like used to work with Cool Mini or Not, so they're very much like following their sort of like model of lots of stretch goals, lots and lots of miniatures. I don't know if it's going to take that long for them to get it out because they're not going to have as much stuff coming in the pipeline. I'm pretty sure this is like their first game. But I was complimenting them on like how good it looked at Gen Con. I'm like, this looks awesome. It's got some really cool stuff, like being able to lock in your different weapons with different characters and upgrade your stuff. And also like the initiative system reminds me a little bit of like Mice and Mystics, but depending on where things are in the initiative, you get different stat boosts. So you might want to like delay your initiative to get a different stat boost or make it so an enemy isn't sitting on a certain stat boost. So it seems pretty interesting. It's like,
seems cool.
It's like a dungeon crawl. Like it feels like Mice and Mystics mixed with like zombie side-ish sort of thing, but it's got those like explosive dice. So if you get a critical hit, you get to like re-roll. If you get another critical hit, you get to re-roll again. If you get another critical hit, you get to re-roll. Yeah, I like those explosive dice sort of things too. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, that is Barnacle Bay from.
So you like dice like that, but you don't like dice for X-Wing.
I don't like dice where you have to roll the attack dice and then your opponent gets to roll the defense dice. And I like if I land a hit that it actually like sticks. And it feels like a lot of times when it's like they have just really good defense. Like I don't even mind that as much as long as the defense isn't like super strong. Like I just hate like missing and missing and missing and missing. I like to actually hit, like just give the characters more hit points and then just let us hit each other more so we feel like we're doing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I learned like from playing D&D back in the day is like whenever we would face monsters with like really high defense where you just always missed them, it just didn't feel very good. But if you like lowered the monster's defense and like just gave them more hit points, at least people are doing damage, even if you're not like killing the monsters fast. It just sucks to like roll and be like, oh, you missed, you don't get to do your cool attack. But if you do your cool attack and it goes through and all this stuff, it just feels so much better. I just hate like missing back and forth, and that's what X-Wing felt like a lot. It's like fly over here, miss, fly over there, miss, fly over here, miss. Yeah. I'm sure with the expansions, there's a lot of stuff to mitigate those dice rolls, but yes, I like explosive dice and dice where when you roll hits, you get hits. So good times, good times.
Sweet,
awesome. Cool. And this next one on the list, you might have heard it in the intro. Rob didn't, but Rob probably eventually will. We're taking on a sponsorship with Tasty Minstrel Games. Michael Mendez from Tasty Minstrel contacted us because he enjoyed the content we made and he was excited about Epic Gaming Night. So he hit me up about trying to sponsor the show and being able to help us out and being able to like help promote their brand as well. Just having a little bumper at the intro, the beginning of the show. Tasty Minstrel Games makes a bunch of like really cool games. And they just have like all sorts of different stuff in their library. They have a bunch of like heavier type Euro games, but they also have like some great fillers. Like I love the Cthulhu Realms game, and we played that civilization building game, the Iron and Steel game. They have a bunch of different stuff that's really great and very interesting. They're always coming out with stuff all the time. And one of the things I think is interesting is Michael's always trying to like innovate the game. Like he's always trying to like come out with new things or new stuff. And one of the things that they're pushing really hard right now is a podcast that Lance, the Undead Viking, is doing with him, where they just interview other people sort of like we do sometimes and just talk about board gaming. So definitely cool stuff over there at the Tasty Minstrel Games podcast. And Michael wants to help support the show, so that's always good too.
Yeah.
Hype.
What?
Awesome. Was there any other news that I missed? Because I know so much stuff's been coming out, Rob, that you can think of.
I don't think there's anything that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, we've talked about so much stuff, but there's also a ton of stuff coming out all the time.
All the time.
all the time. But yeah, lots of exciting stuff that we'll probably talk about in the next coming weeks too. I know there's a couple Kickstarters coming out that I'm super excited about as well. We'll talk about those when they're actually like going
Joan of
on.
Arc Kickstarter.
Dude, those I wish I would have sat down and played it. Trevor told me to. Trevor's like, play Joan of Arc, and I'm like, I want to. I was just
Okay, so the minis are real small. I watched the video on it. They're small, but they're actually really
minis are
nicely
tiny,
detailed.
except for the dragon one, which is
The
not
dragon,
tiny.
no, bigger than that.
Oh my
bro.
gosh.
Bigger than that. The dragon is huge.
I mean, literally, like the dragon is like this big. Like
And it comes
ridiculous.
in the Kickstarter. It's coming with 230 minis.
Is that
And that's
Kickstarter like going already?
No, it comes out in October.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's coming with like buildings and terrain as part of that 230. The dragon is going to be an add-on, but still, it's just like he said in the video. They made the minis smaller so it could be bigger war. They wanted.
I liked how a bunch of the minis look super like crazy in it too. They're like look like they were like angels and like werewolves and all sorts of crazy
Yes,
stuff
you can get
too.
an angel because like the dragon is like a charge of the demon or the devil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But man, it's it.
Yeah, you should
that's
go
what
to
I'm
our
looking for.
Instagram and check out some of those pictures of Joan of Arc. I
And
think
even
they're
though
a
they're small,
ways
the
back.
detail in the minis is pretty good.
Oh yeah, and it's really good for super tiny miniatures like that. I was like, oh my goodness, it's so ridiculously small. But they're really cool looking. Awesome. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get a little bit into what we've been playing. Who do you want to go first, Rob? You can make this happen.
What I've been playing is what I played today, and
You played awesome stuff today, though.
I did. I'll talk about Rhino Super Battle just because I don't want to talk about Crystal Golem or Century Crystal Golem just because I beat Roy so bad and so quickly at the game, and so I won't talk about how I just had my way with Roy at that. Which I also beat Roy at Rhino Superhero or Rhino Super Battle, which was hilarious. That was such a fun game. If you have not seen Rhino Super Battle, it's not officially out yet. You can get it from third-party people online, but it's supposed to release either this month or early next month. But Rhino Super Battle, if you're looking for a dexterity game, it's definitely a top 3. They take the simplicity of the first Rhino Hero and they actually make it more simple, more basic by adding more into the game and giving you more options. And I know that sounds weird. How did you make it more simplistic? But they did, and they do. And we're going to be having a review come out for that pretty soon. Yeah. But man, such a fun game. And we got our tower tall enough that you and Matt were standing on chairs.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. And me and Mark Street had like a huge tower at Dice Tower. I'm pretty sure this new one like surpassed it. Like there's pictures up of on our Instagram, and we did a time lapse for our review video that's going to be coming out. But yeah, Dave's saying we're talking about Rhino Hero Super Battle again. I guess you weren't around when we were talking about Rhino Hero every single episode for like 3 months or whatever.
You're talking about Dave right now?
Yeah.
Dave, it is not a kid's game. It is a grown person adult game. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. In fact, I won't play it with kids.
He said that in the review too. It was pretty awesome. He's like, "This is not a kid's game. I won't even play it with kids. Kids aren't good enough for this game."
Adam, but not this game. This game is just so great. It's so cool. It's so fun. I don't know. It's just because I'll play with kids. I've got kids. I'm excited to play with kids. But still, it's just so fun. And the whole like adding the monkeys and then the multiple levels. That's one thing I love about this one is they have the short walls and the tall walls, and you can kind of connect buildings without touching the floors and stuff like that because you can't touch the floors. It just makes it so intense and so much fun. And we had, I swear, one of our towers, because we ended up making like 2 towers that were connected, but one of our towers had scoliosis. It was like really just kind of shady there at the bottom. Such a fun game. It is for kids, but I've never played it with kids, and I laugh immensely and always have a blast. And we had a blast when we played it earlier today. And, we may have been goading Roy a little bit at the end for him to kind of mess up, but still, such a great game.
I was doing good until it's like, oh yeah, and you have to add a monkey to that tower. And normally I don't have issues with the monkeys, but Rob's just like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. And I've come to expect it from Rob at this point, but
it just makes it fun.
It's still
because
kind of hard.
I like when I'm playing, I have to hold my breath because I get so excited,
Well, I mean,
and
that
I'll
was
just
pretty
like,
much your only chance of winning, but you and Matt both won because I was at the top and I knocked it down. So
yeah.
awesome.
Anyway, it's such a great game. But we played that, and then we played Century Spice Road, which
You mean
real
Crystal
quick,
Golem?
Crystal Golem. Sorry, such a fantastic, phenomenal game. Both of them. I mean, it's the exact same game. It's just different artwork for
Yep.
one. If you get Spice Road or Golem, both great games. Probably, well, not probably, definitely a Splendor killer for me, and probably a top three, definitely top five intro to gaming person. Like, especially
Oh
if
yeah,
I'm playing
yeah.
with somebody who likes math and other things like that, I'll definitely bring this out because it's real quick, real simple. I mean, every game I've played has been under 10 minutes. So those
Mm,
are the two games.
awesome. Well, I'm going to talk about a bigger game that's really in the hype right now. I got a chance to play the intro of Seventh Continent with Trevor. Trevor got his copy of Seventh Continent in, and he had played through it a little bit, but we played through the first little island part. And I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but I'll talk a little bit about the mechanics of this game. So, in Seventh Continent is like a survival game where you're trying to explore the Seventh Continent and figure out kind of like what's going on. You don't really know what's happening at the beginning of the game, and you all get a character. I think they're all like different authors or just like different people that have to do with authors. I know Trevor's character was like H.P. Lovecraft, and my character was some like author lady or whatever. But you can be like Frankenstein's monster and stuff like that. So you can just be these different characters, and you're just you start on like one card with other cards that you can go to explore. And the
What game
map.
is this?
This is Seventh Continent. This
And
is
you're playing as monsters?
I mean, you're playing mostly as characters, but they're kind of like weird, like characters from literature and stuff like that. So yeah, you can be Frankenstein's monster as one of the characters, or he's not called that, but he looks
What?
very much like Frankenstein.
That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. But you're trying to explore this island, and it's very interesting because like you're going through, and there's like you'll be on a card, and you'll go to an event, and the event will trigger, and you'll have to like do this different tests based off of you have an action deck, and this is basically like your life points sort of. But the action deck is full of all these different like action cards you can get that can do different things to help you complete tests, and full of all these different items that you can actually like create in the game. And you can, to try to succeed on these tests, you need to get stars, and there'll be stars in the corner of these cards that you're trying to complete, and some of them are like full stars, some of them are like half stars, but the half stars have to line up with the other cards to be like counted as a full star. And for these challenges, you're trying to get enough stars to be able to complete them. But normally you can get as many of these cards as you want whenever you're doing the challenge, but the faster you go through that deck, the faster your characters are just going to die. And if anybody dies, you just straight up lose the game. But whenever you do one of these challenges, one of the cards that you revealed, you get to keep. Like you can get rafts, and you can get like fire starting things, or you can get like weapons to be able to like fight off like different animals or hunt for different animals that you find. And like you can get certain events in certain times where it'll be like, okay, you can hunt and try to like get these animals, and you get the animals, and you can eat the animals or whatever to refill some of your discard pile back into your deck, so you're not going to die as soon. Or you can start a fire if you have the right tools. You can start a fire, and then you can cook the food, and then it heals even more. So it has this like huge survival feel as you're playing this game, and the map is all like predetermined, but you're exploring this map as you go along, and you have like there's several different curses, I guess, which are kind of like the scenario, which kind of like shows like how you kind of need to go on the continent to be able to complete it. But from what I've heard, I haven't gone that deep into the game. I just got like off the first island and started on the actual Seventh Continent. But like the map is huge, and when you play through the game in different scenarios, you'll explore different areas of this continent. And it's just very unique game. It also has like interesting hidden stuff. Like there'll be like hidden numbers hidden in some of the tiles and stuff like that, where it's like, oh crap, that number's there. We need to pull that part of the map out or that event out. And then you're exploring something completely different. That's like, oh man, it's got all this like interesting, like unlockish type, like hidden numbers in it, which I mean, it just felt so cool. And I really enjoyed playing it. Hopefully I'll get a chance to mess around with it a little bit more before Trevor takes it back. But it's really cool. I think it's like a Kickstarter. Like the whole game is only on Kickstarter. And so it came out and people got their copies, and I think they're going to bring it back to Kickstarter super soon.
Yeah, that's what some of the people in chat are saying, that it's going to be coming up.
Yeah, but it definitely has that survival feel. Like just the items and stuff you're getting, it just feels like survival. And it's kind of cool because when you get the items, they're ideas in your head, and then you actually have to like be standing on locations you can just build the item and it'll take a lot of cards out of your action deck. Or if you go to a place that has the resources that the item needs and you're standing on it, you won't have to discard as many cards out of the action deck. So that way you're like not wearing yourself out as much. So you're doing stuff to try to survive and not wear yourself out, but then you're getting all these cool like ideas and making all these different weapons and rafts and like healing salves to be able to heal you and stuff like that. And then there's events coming up where you can get like poisoned and different things and just really weird stuff in the game too. It's kind of like mind bending. It's like, what is this? And you're running into weird creatures and things like that. So I'm really excited to see where the game leads. Since it's like a scenario based game, it's hard for me to like continue to play things like that. But I definitely thought it was really exciting from what we played. So definitely a great game to check out. And that is Seventh Continent.
Boom.
Boom.
Seventh Continent.
Boom.
I'm excited. You know, it's not going to be the same, but you got me excited once you talked about monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
I backed on Kickstarter the Village Attacks.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been doing these work in progress Wednesday updates. Man, that game just looks super cool.
That's awesome.
And I like the fact that you can be the monsters and stuff. And so when you were talking about being Frankenstein, I think that's it's one of the monsters in the game. But I love cool, unique little games and things like that. It's definitely one that I want to check out. When I was at your house earlier today, I saw that, and I was like,
this one is definitely not a little game. This game is huge. I've made the mistake a couple times trying to pick it up with one hand, and like I'm pretty sure like I sprained my wrist just from trying to pick that box up because it's slap full of cards and things to explore. So, and it's just like a card game, but it feels like so much more because it's like you have miniatures that move around the cards, but you're just going to all these crazy locations. So super excited.
Bro, awesome. Side note, I went and saw it this week. Kinda scary.
Did you have to sleep
I
with
will
the lights
say this.
On? I know you don't do super good with the scary movies.
Well, here's the thing about scary movies, and I know we're about board games, but if it's like something that's like fake like that, it won't scare me so much because I'm like, oh, okay, like I know that's not real. It's those ones where like it could be real and they kind of leave it open where I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep for a while. So I just side note, there is a lot of language in the movie, which not that it makes sense, but there is a clown, spoiler alert, that's going around killing people, and so like I get people drop language outside of the language though. Crazy movie. The guy who plays the clown just does a phenomenal job. Like, I don't know how any of the kid actors didn't, pee their pants or whatever, and they did a good job. But man, just I went with my sister and my brother-in-law, and then I'll jump from this. I'm sorry, and we made a bet. First one to jump has to pay $1 to the other two.
Nice.
I ended up paying $1. I jumped. I tried so hard not to jump, and then there was just one thing that happened, and it was like a double scare. Like you expect the first scare, it's like, oh, okay, and then boom, the second thing happened. It was like, got me,
nice.
Got me. So sorry.
Awesome. Yeah. I've definitely heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm just so far behind on movies. Them babies, man, make it hard to get out and see them. So awesome. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get into our topic tonight.
Yeah.
Which is our top 10 space games.
What?
Hype. So I have some honorable mentions. I don't know if you put an honorable mention in there at all.
I have a couple that
me too. So
here we
go.
Make my list. So I'll definitely put them as honorable mentions.
Nice. So you want to start with your first honorable mention there, Rob?
X-Wing.
Nice.
X-Wing is my first honorable mention. It is completely in space.
Mm-hmm.
It is Star Wars X-Wing. Great game, a lot of fun. I just I like the other games better.
Yep. I like X-Wing. I think I like Armada better. And as far as the Star Wars universe stuff goes, just because I like the combat system and the giant ships, but there is a lot of fun in like upgrading and building those ships the way you want. So X-Wing's a good one. My first honorable mention is another game that I got to play with Trevor, and that is Flip Ships. Flip Ships is a game where there's this, it's kind of like Space Invaders, and these space, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's space, because it's like there's spaceships coming down and attacking you, but technically you're protecting a planet. But there's these spaceships coming down, and they're you have to like flip your ships off this little like podium and get it to land on these other cards, which by itself seems interesting. But the part that makes it really interesting is that you have different types of ships, and as the game progresses and as the planet gets more damaged, you get like more special abilities with your different ships as you go along, and you're working together to try to flip and take out all these ships that are coming in. And you also have to make sure to damage the mothership, which is behind them. It's like just like a square that you have to like make it land in, and you have to do enough damage to the mothership and take out all these ships before a certain number of rounds, and then you can win the game. If you don't take out the ships, then they damage the planet, and if you don't take out the mothership in time, then you get tons and tons and tons and tons of damage from the mothership, and then you basically just lose the game. But yeah, it's super interesting, super fun little dexterity game, and that's Flip Ships. It's not necessarily higher on my list just because I just haven't played it enough to know. I've only like played it once, but definitely a great honorable mention is Flip Ships. What's your next one, Rob?
Hold on. Dave, are you saying that you're going to die if we don't name those games in our list? Somebody, if you're near Dave, go rescue him. Go rescue Dave, because according to my list, he may not make it.
Do we even have any of those games? No, I'm just kidding.
My next honorable mention, and here's what I'll do. I will go ahead and I'll just say the ones that I'll say left, just so we can get into the list. I left off Nexus Ops, I left off Star Realms, and I left off XCOM, and I left off Imperial Assault. All great games, all a lot of fun. Really close. I'm just wanting more. I think Imperial Assault would make my top 10, even though it's not so much space themed, even though it's Star Wars. Just the app hasn't happened yet. Nexus Ops is a lot of fun. I just haven't gotten to the table in a while, and so it's just one of those things that's just been replaced. And Star Realms, that's a fun game. I played that with Trevor and some other people a couple times. It's a good game, but just not enough to say like a top 10. So
awesome. My next honorable mention like almost made it on the list, and it probably should be on the list. I really like this game, but I just haven't played it as much.
Zaya.
No. You think that would be an honorable mention? You think that'd be on the list? What? Alien Frontiers is a great dice placement game. You haven't played this one yet, Rob, have you? It is a great like area control game where you have these dice that you're placing and going to different like things that are orbiting this planet that you're trying to colonize, and you're rolling the dice and getting the different resources you need to be able to try to colonize the planet. And you've got all these like alien artifacts that you can mitigate your dice to be able to flip them over or re-roll them or change them, and you're trying to like vie for like filling in these spaces, very much like a worker placement game, but it also has that area control thing in. And this is like one of the games that started the Kickstarter craze, and Alien Frontiers is just like a solid game, so I had to at least mention it during our space games list, but it sadly didn't make it to the top 10. So, but yeah, Alien Frontiers is a great game, and you need to play it with us, Rob. You need to play it, Rob, sometime.
Forbidden Stars didn't make my top 10.
Yeah.
And the only reason is because of the combat taking so long. That's the only reason why I got rid of the game. Just because I love the theme. I love the minis, but I hate the fact that FFG dropped it. That was another thing that stopped it for me.
Right.
I'm not crazy about FFG making these awesome games and then just not supporting them.
Well,
and then the
I think
combat
with this
mechanic,
one, it might have been Games Workshop fault just as much as it was their own. So
I mean, either way, they really made a good game. They could have tweaked the combat with some updates in the rules.
Yeah, I never got a chance to play it just straight up 2 players, and that might have made it better because you're not ever going to be left out of combat.
But yeah, you're not waiting
4-player experience in that game.
Minutes. Yeah, it's rough.
It was pretty rough.
So that was my last honorable mention. Forbidden Stars.
Yeah, that one's solid. Awesome. Well, I guess we can go ahead and get into our list.
Let's do it.
I'll go ahead and kick us off with my number 10, which is Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Ooh, that's your number 10?
It's my number 10. Dude, space is a crowded category. I like Tiny Epic Galaxies.
My fantasy's more crowded than this. Okay.
It is a great game where you're following actions other people are taking. You're trying to colonize planets. I got the Beyond the Black expansion where you're like going beyond the black and trying to get all these pilots and get all these explore all these crazy different nebula and different things like that and crazy supernova and stuff. But yeah, it's a great game. Scott's games are cool because of that follow mechanic. I really enjoy being able to make sure I have enough follow to be able to follow everybody else in the game and then just like pay attention on every single person's turn, being like, is he going to take the action I need? He took the action I need. Follow it. Okay, but I don't want to run out of follow, so I'm going to wait till somebody else takes the action that I really, really need. Okay, he took it. Now do that. Okay, my turn. Just try to get as much follow as possible. But yeah, it's a fun game and a quick game, and it's a lot of game in a tiny little box. So that is Tiny Epic Galaxies. Your turn, Rob. Number 10.
My number 10, all right, my number 10 is The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, nice.
I only got to play this once, but I absolutely loved it. It's easily the grail game for me. Like, if I could get this, I would totally do it.
Oh, man, so
Queen's
much money.
Gambit, it is Star Wars in a box, and it does have space because you have the whole Anakin trying to take down the shield, but it would be higher if I had played it more, but I only got to play it that one time that Trevor came over and brought it.
Yeah.
But it's just so amazing. It is such a great game. I wish they would re-theme it with The Matrix because I think that'd be a great theme.
That
but
would
anyway,
make kind of a lot of sense.
they could totally do it with The Matrix. You could have anyway, and I love the whole duel system when you have Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, and then you have the big battle. Such a good game. Such a good game. So, my number 10, Queen's Gambit.
When I played Queen's Gambit, it was just my goal to kill all the Gungans. Like, I didn't have any other goal in that game besides just take out all the Gungans, because if all the Gungans are gone, then Jar Jar has to be dead, right?
Yeah, yes, I guess.
I didn't win the game, but I still had fun doing it.
Sweet.
But yeah, awesome. Well, my number 9, and people might be mad this is so low, but I love space games. Race for the Galaxy. Race for the Galaxy is a great space card game that's very quick because it has simultaneous actions. There's crazy iconography all over the cards, but it is a awesome like engine tableau building game. We're trying to get these cards out and combo them together to be able to get resources or build up your military so you can play more cards. You're trying to play out your 6-cost development so they give you tons of points, and you're just doing your turns over and over and over really quick, and you're also trying to get into your opponent's head to try to figure out what actions are they going to pick, because you get to do the same actions that your opponent does. They just get a bonus for actually picking the card. So it's like, man, I really need to do this action, but I also really need to do this one. Which one are they going to pick so I can know which one I need to pick? So it's a great game, and this game, 2 players, is ridiculously quick. So Race for the Galaxy is my number 9.
Race for the Galaxy is your number 9. My number 9 is Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Oh, snap.
Great game, a lot of fun. Everything that Roy said in the game. I especially like it with the expansion and adding the new pilots and stuff like that. But the core game itself is phenomenal. Tiny Epic, that whole series, Gameland Games, they know what they're doing. They make good games. So,
for sure.
Yeah, not to repeat everything. Tiny Epic Galaxies, my number 9.
Awesome. Well, my number 8 is a game set in a very famous IP for space, and that is Star Trek. Star Trek Ascendancy. This is the first 4X game on my list. I love 4X games, and Star Trek Ascendancy is just a great 4X game where you get to play as the different factions from Star Trek, and you're trying to build your civilization, going out and like putting all these different nodes on there and getting all your different like resources to be able to build your technologies, build more ships, grow your empire even more. One of the main things I love about this game is how the map like builds out. You just start with these circle planets and you roll a dice to put these little like little warp gates in between each planet, and the board just kind of like organically grows across the table, and it just looks great on the table, and it's a lot of fun seeing all the different factions and trying to blow each other up. This game is very random. Like, there's randomness all over the place. There's a decent amount of downtime, but I really enjoy Star Trek Ascendancy, and I am so excited to play with the new factions for Star Trek Ascendancy. So
I really want to play this.
We got to
one.
make that happen. So Trevor wants to make it happen. 3 players. Let's do it, Rob. Let's make
I
it
would
happen.
love to do it. Every time you guys have played, I've been busier away.
Yeah.
I like the IP. I'm more of a Star Wars fan, but I really like the IP. And man, yeah, that's a good game. And especially when the Borg come out. Oh
man,
goodness.
I can't wait.
That was one of my favorite Star Trek movies, Star Trek First Contact, when the Borg. Oh, so good.
Sweet. What's your number 8, man?
My number 8 is now. This game has recently been rethemed and reskinned, and I actually like the reskinning better. But for a space-themed game, I really like this game, and that's Cosmic Encounter.
Nice.
I love the cards that are in the middle, and like that last time we played where Roy had that one treachery card where he could steal cards, but he had to be sly about it. And I love how you can kind of like convince people to fight with you and fight against you type of a thing. I just love the backstabbing and you know, putting your plastic pieces where your mouth is. If you're really gonna do it, it's a lot of fun. It's an older game; it's been out forever, but they keep reprinting it. It keeps doing a great job, and so Cosmic Encounter is my number 8.
Sweet. All right.
Sorry, Dave.
My number 7 is another 4X game, and I was kind of debating which one of these I liked more. And this is a game that I haven't played in a long time, but I really, really like it, and that is Eclipse. This is a space 4X game where you are building your civilization and you're doing all this different stuff. And the thing that I just keep coming back to on this game is the fact that you can mod your ships however you want to. You can just build them out with all sorts of crazy weapons and different things to make them move faster, all sorts of shields, all sorts of different engines, and just the way you can tweak that and try to like make it like asymmetrical to your opponent's ships. And just there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this is like a 4X Euro game. I actually really enjoy the like tweaking of the economy in this game and figuring out like how many actions can I use based on the amount of money that I have, and if I spread too far that I'm going to run out of resources. It's like, man, I just need to get one more planet, but hopefully it has money, so that way I can still fund my empire and still be able to take actions. Oh my god, I just keep pushing and try to make it happen. And then this game always comes down to that like last battle where you're all like standing toe to toe, and it's like, okay, last turn, we've got all these ships with all these guns, we gotta do something with them, and everybody just blows each other up and clashes to see who ends up being the victor in the end. But yeah, Eclipse is a great game, and it's been around for a while.
But it's long though.
It's definitely a long game, but it's not as long as Twilight Imperium. But
I know, but like I don't know. I have not played it, and I've not played it for that reason because it's long.
Yeah.
And just
it's
like
definitely
if I'm
not
gonna
as
play
long
it,
as
play
like
with
some
you,
of these 4X games.
But I'd rather play TI3. But I mean, I've heard good things.
I just love them all,
Eclipse.
man. It's different. I just really love them all. So awesome, cool.
Yeah,
What's
I
your...
knew space was going to be an easy category for you.
Oh yeah,
and,
I was literally like, oh man, I have too many space games. I guess we'll see what happens. So good times. What's your number 7, man?
My number 7 is Galaxy Trucker. Galaxy Trucker is a quick, real-time game where you were trying to build a ship to stop either pirates or asteroids or other things attacking you and hitting you. I absolutely love the fact that this is a real-time game. I remember the first time Roy brought it out and introduced it to me, I was like, all right, so we're all going at the same time, and all this is in picking pieces. Absolutely love it. I want to play it more and more and more. It really is a fun game to me. It's not higher on my list because I've only played it like a handful of times.
Yeah.
But I love that quick thinking on your feet type of strategy games. It totally kills analysis paralysis, which is another reason why I love it. But Galaxy Trucker is my number 7.
Awesome. Cool. My number 6 is a game that got me into I played tons of board games my entire life. I played tabletop games all the time. But the game that made me like obsessed with board games themselves is Battlestar Galactica.
What?
Battlestar Galactica.
That's your number 6?
Yep. Battlestar Galactica is a great and amazing game. I love the whole Cylon trader thing. I love just the way this game is kind of cooperative, but then there's people that are like going to stab you in the back, and you're always, as the humans, you're like holding on to the edge of hope. As the Cylons, you're trying to be sneaky, and I played this game at the Dice Tower Con, and it was extremely epic. Like, it always comes down with those situations of like, they didn't know I was a Cylon, and the very last turn of the game, I just threw everything to like make sure we lost a critical thing, and still at the very end, they didn't know I was a Cylon, and I did the whole thing like I did when we played Shadows over Camelot so long ago, where I was like, oh man, this person, oh cool, good job, man, it sucks, I wonder who made us lose, oh wait, it was me. So, but yeah, love Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, it makes
game.
it so great. But I hate when that happens because it's like such a bittersweet moment. It's like, yes, Rory, you're with us. You're not. Screw you. I hate you forever. It's such a fun time.
They were a little bit like, I was rooting hardcore for the humans the entire game, and they were getting a little bit sketchy here at the end. But they just kept the game running so fast that they didn't like take a lot of time to analyze what was going on, so I was able to sneak in there without getting caught a little bit, so that was pretty fun. Cool. What's your number 6, Rob?
My number 6, I think we're going to hear more about later, but I'm going to say my number 6 is Zaya.
What?
Yeah, number 6 is Zaya. It's a great sandbox game. If you want space, it's space. The whole game is in space. It's a lot of fun, especially with the new expansion. I don't think I would play Zaya without the new expansion. It's fun, but it can be annoying at times, and that's why it's so low on my list. Like, especially if you're playing with people and they're buddy, and like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and tank this so my other buddy can win. Well, that's not the point of playing the game. The point is to let everybody play the game and everybody try to win the game. And I don't like when people like team up to let somebody else get the Diet Coke win. So anyway, but it's still a lot of fun. I love the customization of the ships in the game and the different chances that you can take, and I love the blind jumping. It is a lot of fun. I think I just need to play it more for it to get higher on my list, because it really is a fantastic game.
I never play with people with AP. So.
And I won't play with them anymore. That was one of the other reasons why it's number 6 on my list, is just because the analysis paralysis.
We'll play with the expansion, and you'll see. We'll see if we can push it up. Maybe a space. Maybe we can make it to number 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe. I don't know. My top 5 I feel really strong about.
Man, like, saying our top 10 space games is basically just like, hey, what's your favorite 10 games or whatever. Almost like, I love space.
I don't know. I was
so
looking through my games earlier. I did not realize I have a lot of like Cthulhu. And I have a lot of fantasy style games.
I'm such a like basic nerd when it comes to like games. I've said this a lot of times before, but it's like space, fantasy, and Lovecraft. Like, I will just play games and will continue to just buy any games with those themes. What's wrong with me? Like,
yeah, no, I'm the same way. A lot of my collection is that same. It's like, it's the majority of that.
Awesome.
Horror, fantasy, and space. And I'll say horror, not just Lovecraft, just because of zombie side.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Awesome. Well, let's go into the top 5. I might get some hate on this one too, but maybe this one will go up a little bit here soon. But my number 5 is Star Wars Rebellion.
What?
This is an amazing game that feels like Star Wars in a box. It's great with the Empire trying to like put the pressure on the rebellion and try to find that rebel base, and then the rebellion is trying to just hide and also like complete all these like stealthy objectives, like Star Wars Rogue One. That it literally is Star Wars Rebellion. So I was so excited when they announced the expansion for this, which I have yet to play. And one of the things I thought was interesting about this game, I thought the combat was a little bit fiddly and kind of weird. They said they cleaned up the combat a lot with the expansion, so I'm really excited to get Star Wars Rebellion to the table with the expansion. And it's just a great game that feels huge. Another thing is I haven't played this game a ton compared to a lot of these other games, but even without playing it enough times to like put it like at my top, this game still makes it to my number 5 because it is amazing. So Star Wars Rebellion, my number 5.
I am disgusted with you.
Robert Newman.
But I will say this, I will be getting the expansion in a couple weeks. I've got another closing coming up, and so that's my present. My number 5 is Star Wars Risks. And here's what I mean by Star Wars Risk. There's multiple versions of the Star Wars Risks, whether the new one and then the one with the prequels and stuff. I love them all. And I'm a huge Risk fan. I know a lot of people will probably give me flack for liking Risk, but it's a game that I grew up on. And so Star Wars Risks, I'm just blanket saying all of them because I could easily put 2 of them down in my top 10. Easily. But I didn't want to do that. And so Star Wars Risks, all of them, is my number 5.
Gotcha. And
my favorite one, though, is the one with the Order 66.
Do you like that? So have you played the newer one with that feels like Queen's Gambit Light?
Yeah, it's fun and stuff like that, but I love the whole time restraint of the Order 66. Like, could it happen? I don't know if it's going to happen. Because then once it happens, like, it completely changes the game.
Gotcha.
And so it's just, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun to me.
Awesome. Cool. Let's get into it. My number 4 is a game that's already been mentioned, but I love this game. Even though I feel like it's hard for me to get to the table specifically because I don't feel like I'm necessarily on an even playing field most of the time. I need to get some competitive people to play this game. This game is a real-time game from Vlad Chvátil, and that is Galaxy Trucker.
Yep.
I love this game. This game is amazing. It is so much fun building the ships, working as hard as you can to, like, you need tons of guns on your ship. You should try to get as many guns as possible. Okay, well, you need engines so you can move your ship. You need as many engines as possible. You need cargo bays to hold all your cargo. You need as many cargo bays as possible. Okay, you need as many shields to block all the damage. Like, you have all these different crazy parts with all sorts of different power, with different pipes that you're putting together, and it's a blast building these ships. And then you're all racing to the finish line to try to get there first. Also have the prettiest ship at the end without all these connectors exposed everywhere. But along the way, you're running into asteroids and pirates, and you're running into planets where you can pick up goods and get a bunch of bonus points. And it's just a lot of fun building these ships. I probably would play it a lot more than I do because I don't think it's... I mean, there's a decent amount you have to teach in the game, but it's not that hard to teach. It's just hard to be able to grasp building a good ship in real time. And I'm pretty okay with real-time games, and I've played this one a bunch. So I think this is definitely a game where you can kind of like play it over and over again and your skill level goes up a little bit more. But so many people talk about how random and crazy this game is, but if you build a good ship, your ship can survive and be very lucrative in the game. So I love Galaxy Trucker, and it's definitely a blast. And it's cool that there's tons of different ship like model types you can build in the game with all the expansions. So Galaxy Trucker is my number 4.
My number 4 is one that will be mentioned soon from somebody else, and that is...
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Twilight Imperium.
Your number what?
My number 4 is Twilight Imperium.
Put that on your list?
It's a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why it's there's a couple reasons why it's number 4.
Oh wait, this is Twilight Imperium 3. Oh yeah, that's old news.
Well, I'm just saying Twilight Imperium. I didn't say 3 or 4. I think I like 4, but it's one of those games where I played it 4 times now in my life. So that's about 30 hours I put into this game. Here's the thing. It's so much game. It is so much game that it's not like a top pick for me. I mean, it is number 4, but I absolutely love it. It's one of those games where I don't care if I lose. Yeah. I just love the whole experience of playing. Mm-hmm. You have the Senate, you have the battles, you have the planets, you have the exploration, you have the backstabbing, you have the, hey, I only did that because I need these objective points. And I mean, you just have everything going on. It really is a complete game. It's one of those things that if you do like space and you're okay with combat, set a day aside and play with your friends. But Twilight Imperium, 3rd, and I think I'm also going to really love 4th edition. That's my number 4.
Nice. Awesome. Well, my number 3 game is a game that is older than I am. This game is widely or highly regarded in the board game industry by a few people, and that is Cosmic Encounter. This is the game of negotiation in space and trying to colonize your opponent's planets.
That's your number 3?
That is my number 3. Dude, I love Cosmic Encounter. Like, Cosmic Encounter is one of my favorite games, like, of all time. Like, it's in my top 20 easy. So, but yeah, I love Cosmic Encounter.
It's such a good game. Like, it really is.
Yeah,
and I love Zaya was number 6 for me, for those that are, because there's people asking in chat. I really like what they did on the retheme for the Iron Throne edition.
For me, there's just so much more in the space version, and I just
it's also been out forever.
Right. It's been out forever. There's been like tons and tons of remakes by tons of different companies. Like, so many different companies have picked this game up, and it is just a great space game because you're definitely aliens running around trying to get at these different planets. I love the negotiation in this game and trying to. I don't care who I win the game with as long as I win the game. So I'm open to any deals and any negotiations as long. I want to be there with you.
Yes, you are.
Rob,
oh my gosh.
Rob, I want to win the game with you.
Yes.
Let's win together.
And for real, guys, Roy really is that way. As long as he gets the W, he doesn't care if he's solo or with everybody. It's one of the greatest things when you don't take him to the win.
So that I can win with other people, because it's so much harder to do it by yourself. So I try to help other people out all game long to like get to the same level I am. So on the last turn, I can be like, guys, let's do this together. Let's screw the other player so that they lose and we all win. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Game.
It's a lot of fun. Oh man,
such a good game. It was in my top 10.
And
I love it.
Another game that didn't make my list just because it didn't, like, it's definitely a space game, but it doesn't feel space to me. Made by the same designers is Rex. It's not on my list just because it's a planet game. Like, it's on a single planet the whole time, so I didn't really put it on my list.
See, here's my thing. I was expecting that to be your number 3. I know what your 1 and 2 are, but I was expecting that to be like a top 5.
How do you know what my 1 and 2 are?
I think if your 1 and 2 are not 1 and 2, then something's wrong. I'm coming to your house. Roy is sick. He's not feeling well. I know. I thought Rex would be in your top 10, and so when you said Cosmic Encounter, I mean, I'm with you.
I was just thinking about the game, and I picked games that were like out in space when I chose this list, as opposed to like a planetary combat thing. And I'm not putting those restrictions on anybody else. I just did that for myself. So, but I love Rex. Like,
sweet.
Awesome.
My number 3 is You're actually going to be a little surprised by it. It's a Euro game. Terraforming Mars is my number 3. Man, I have played this game several times now, and the more I play it, the more I really enjoy it. I see what all the hype is about. I will definitely be getting a copy of this game with some of the expansions. But I remember the last time I got to play it was at Dice Tower Con with Emerson and Ron, and had such a blast playing the game. And I love the concept and the idea of taking the planet and trying to make it habitable for humans. I've never won the game. I got close, though. Emerson beat me by 1 point, and we had to go down to tiebreaker rules. We had to go down to the second level of tiebreaker rules for him to beat me. But Terraforming Mars, it's just the only complaint I have about the game is I don't think Stronghold Games expected it to be as successful as it is, because some of the components and the pictures and stuff seem a little cheap. I mean, if I'm being honest, it seems to be a little cheap. But that's poking at straws. It's a lot of fun. It is not Matt Damon the game, but it could be Matt Damon the game because of First Martian. But anyway, Terraforming Mars, my number 3.
Hype. Awesome.
Do you know what my 2 are? Do you know what my top 2 are? You don't. I mean, don't say them out loud. But do you think you have an idea?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. I know what your number 2 is.
I always talk about my favorite games all the time. So cool. So my number 2 is Zaya.
I was.
No. Yeah. Zaya is my number 2 game. I just did that to mess with Rob. I love Zaya. Zaya is a space exploration game where you're basically like a space merchant pirate guy. Basically like you're in Firefly or you're Han Solo flying around the verse trying to explore different planets and different areas, like these different locations around the board, and then also trying to like collect resources. Also, you're trying to like blow up other people's ships and blow up NPC ships, and also trying to do these missions. It's like a full-on sandbox game where there's tons of ways to get points, and there's even more ways to get points with the expansion. And this one is another game that just has that, like, you can build your ship however you want to. That makes me really enjoy Eclipse so much. This game has it where you can just build your personal ship with, you can put guns on there if you want to blow people up. You can put extra holds on there if you want to be a merchant and carry a bunch of stuff around. You can put shields on there if you want to like play it safe. You can slowly upgrade your engine so that you're just zipping around the verse and like exploring everything all over the place. There's so many different like builds and paths to like victory in this game. And this game is very much like a risk management game where you have to be opportunistic and try to like figure out what's the best thing for me to do this turn. It's like, oh man, Rob just ran into an asteroid and just almost died, but he's not dead yet. He's about to be.
Yeah.
Let me go drop off on this planet, buy some guns, and chase him down and blow him up. That's this kind of game. So, but yeah, I love Zaya. Zaya is definitely one of my all-time favorite games for sure. Amazing game, and it's so much better with the expansion. So if you played Zaya before the expansion, give it another try with the expansion stuff added in. There's so much good stuff with the events and all sorts of craziness going on. So Zaya, my number 2 space game of all time.
Real quick, Jeremy, if you make some coffee, I would love a cup right now. Coffee sounds really good, man. So okay,
is it because I was acting so hyper? Is that why you wanted to make some coffee? Because I was flipping out.
I like coffee. I like coffee. My number 2 is Star Wars Rebellion. Absolutely love the game. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love the IP. Yeah. It is Star Wars in a box. You have your ground battles. You have your space battles. I love the cards. I love all the characters. It is Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm really excited about the new movies coming out. Sure. In the future of what's going on. I'm excited that they just brought J.J. Abrams back to film the last one. But anyway, besides that, Star Wars Rebellion really is a complete Star Wars game. And I'm really excited. Here shortly, I'm going to be ordering the new expansion. I think it's just one of those things that's like a complete experience for me, because it has a solid ending. Either the Rebels win or the Empire wins. It's not one of those things that's like left up in the air. I love the theme of just like good versus evil type of a thing. It's so good. It's such a great game. And I hope, and it looks like it, but I hope FFG keeps supporting this game and keeps supporting the Star Wars universe and stuff like that. So, my number 2, Star Wars Rebellion, hands down.
Sweet. Awesome, guys. Well, I guess we're going into the number 1s here. This might shock a lot of you, what my number 1 is. I know you guys probably aren't expecting this at all. But my number 1 space game, I mean, do I even need to put that part on there? My number 1 is Twilight
XCOM.
Imperium. 4th edition / 3rd edition / 4th edition, probably 4th edition. I don't have my copy of 4th edition yet. I love Twilight Imperium. This is a gigantic space opera that takes forever to play, but is unashamedly long and unashamedly epic. When I play this game, I can't go to sleep at night because I'm just excited and hyped up about having just played this epic, like, space opera.
And
really
there's
so many twists and turns in the story of how the game plays out. And it's crazy this game takes so long, but it never feels like it takes that long because I am constantly engaged. Just being like, oh man, he's doing this thing over there. Oh man, he's doing a secondary action. I need to do that too. Hey man, let's negotiate. Let's talk about some things. Oh man, please don't attack me over here. Like, there's just so many things going on. Trying to figure out how to be sneaky and get in there and get those secret objectives. And Twilight Imperium 4 definitely improves on the Twilight Imperium system. It makes trading better. It makes the tech tree a lot more manageable because you don't have to stare at a paper for like 30 minutes trying to figure out what your next move on the tech tree is. You can literally just be like, okay, I need this mini text of this type and this mini text of this type. Got it. War Suns are mine. So there's lots of awesome stuff there. And then it just like has so much stuff that makes the game feel better. And I'm super excited to explore 4 more. I'm going to keep talking about Twilight Imperium 3 until I've played a full solid game of 4 and probably have 4 in my possession to be able to add it to the very top of all my lists. But Twilight Imperium itself is so amazing. Like, I know it's a long game. I know it takes forever to play. But for me, it's worth scheduling the time and making it happen because the stories that are created in Twilight Imperium will never be forgotten. So
I remember every single game I played of Twilight Imperium.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember pivotal turns, like
oh my goodness,
from everybody betraying me in one game to a game where like everybody had missions for Mechatol Rex. So we were literally just stealing it back and forth from each other when I played with my friend Dustin. The very first game of Twilight Imperium I ever played, me and my friend Dustin got to 10 points the exact same turn. And when you do that, it's based off of initiative. So whoever has initiative first gets to claim their objectives first. So we both claimed our objectives, and they're like, wait, we tied. What happens? It's like, oh no, you claim your objectives in initiative order. And the very first race I ever played was the race that has 0 initiative, so they go very first every single turn all the time. So I like literally won the game just because of my race's special power. And that's like really mostly their only power, so it didn't really help me out most of the rest of the game.
But it did then, though.
But it did at the very end. It helped me win the game just because I was allowed to claim my objectives before everybody else. I play this game so many times, and it takes forever, and you have to schedule it, but it's totally worth it. And I think 4 is going to make it a little bit more accessible for people, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to teach and get into. So I'm definitely excited for Twilight Imperium 4, and Twilight Imperium is my #1 space game of all time. Rob, don't cool down the hype too much. You got to keep up the hype train with whatever.
No, it's such a great game. It is such a great game. All right, hype train. My #1. I bet you can guess what it is. I will say this: I have played better space games than this, and I think that overall there are better space games on my list than this game. But this game for me is nostalgia, and I'm a fan of the IP. I'm a big fan of the IP. In fact, I've gotten into arguments with people about the IP on the show.
For sure.
And it's also one of the games that got me into gaming, and that's Battlestar Galactica. Absolutely love Battlestar Galactica. It was the first hidden trader mechanic game I've ever played. Battlestar Galactica, Risk Legacy, and Game of Thrones were like the first 3 games, and then shortly after that came Mansions of Madness. But in like one weekend, my buddies and we played all 3 of those games, and we had such a blast. And every time I think of Battlestar Galactica, just crazy fun thoughts come to mind, from experiences that I played with friends to different strategies to now having home or house rules where everyone reads your card for 5 minutes, even if you know you're just a human. But it's such a great game, and I love how it seems like every game I've played, there's only been like a couple games where the Cylons just ran away with it. But every game, I would say 90+% of the games I've played have been so close and so let's work together. You know, we're biting our nails right here trying to make sure that we can win this game. Or you'll have somebody like Roy who, oh, guys, we're going to win. Oh, no. And then this happens and just completely takes it for you.
I honestly hate playing the Cylons because I feel like they're easy mode.
They are definitely easier to win as the Cylons.
It's so hard to win as the humans in that game because the game itself is against you. Like, everything's trying to kill you in space. So I love being a human and just working every bit of energy that I have into trying to make the humans win.
Well, and it also makes the win so much more gratifying because like you know what it takes to win the game as a human. But still, it's just a lot of fun, and I have great
every time I've gotten a Cylon card, it has not been good for the humans at all. It's like, oh man, I literally played a game of this where me and the other Cylon were like the only free people in the ship, and we had thrown everybody else in the brig. Like it was stupid. Like it was really dumb. because they didn't catch us in time, and then we're like, okay, our turns were like back to back, and I'm like, okay, I put a human in the brig, and then he's like, okay, cool, I put another human in the brig, and we're just like, we own this ship. Oh man, that was really bad for them. It was fun. Cool.
Yeah, such a great game, and that's my top 10. This list wasn't super hard for me.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it wasn't super hard, just because when I was going through my games, I was like, okay, no, I really like these games. I think the one that's really going to be tough for me is when we start to get more in the fantasy realm.
Oh, yeah.
That's just, and there's so many different areas we could break it down fantasy-wise of top 10, if you want to do just fantasy or a certain type of themed fantasy stuff. But, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did a top 10 tonight. It's been a while.
Yeah, top 10s are so much fun to do just because it's just really fun to talk about these different games that we really love. And it helps show people like the things we're super excited about. Do you think there's room for like more space games to come out? Or is there a space game that you would love to see come out?
Yes! Freaking the Crossroads space game. Like,
yes!
Come on. I am so excited for the Crossroads space game.
Dude, and they posted pictures of playtesting that on Twitter. So it's still in the works, but who knows where it's at.
No, I'm excited, and I think there's plenty. Like, I want to try the new Clank in space.
I would love to see some great like space survival games. Like, sadly, First Martian isn't on either of our lists, but I would love to see a game that's along those lines of like landing on a planet and like having to survive, kind of like how Seventh Continent made me feel. It'd be cool to have a Seventh Continent in space sort of game.
See, I would love to have like an Alien, like original Sigourney Weaver Alien 1 space game where it's one versus many, and it's like a hidden movement type of you don't know what's happening until they come get you. I think that would be fun. And they may already have that, and I just haven't found it and played it. But I like those because to me, space is terrifying. It's beautiful, but it's terrifying. Because like it itself is literally trying to kill you. You can't live in space without help. It's not like I can just like I'm right here doing the podcast. Like it's absolutely terrifying. And so like I like the idea of being in space and just like all the odds are against you, and then you survive or you beat the alien or you do something like that would be a lot of fun. I like the press your luck type of idea for space, and that's why I think the Crossroad games will be so good. You know, I could just see like, hey, there's a leak in this part of the ship, and if you don't fix it, you can't access that part of the ship anymore. And then what if you need a piece in that ship to win the game, and now you can't win the game? This can be so good.
It is going to be awesome, especially when you have the whole trader element added in there too.
So. I'm excited also, speaking of Playdot Games, the Samurai.
Oh, yeah, robots. Samurai Starships or whatever?
Yeah, Starship Samurai.
Yeah.
That looks so good.
The miniatures are so good. I really want to see the board. I was asking Isaac if they had pictures of the board, and he said they're still prototyping, or they're still not finished yet. So, but it's going to be like an area control-ish game where you can do different actions, but you have numbers for each action. And depending on like how you play your actions, they're going to be like different strength. Like you can play resources and get like 6 resources, but then you can't do like the 6 moves with the same card or whatever. So it seems really interesting the way he was explaining. I'm super excited to play it. And Isaac makes okay stuff. Isaac makes pretty okay stuff.
I mean, they're okay.
Whatever. Isaac's the best.
Isaac, Eric Lang, and Emerson Matsuuchi, easily top 3 favorite game designers. Like, they are my dream team. Just, oh my gosh, the board game babies those 3 could make together.
Nice.
So good.
Awesome. Well, we're going to close this thing out. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We do want to say thank you so much to our amazing patrons that make it possible for us to do this podcast.
Oh, yes.
And we do want to thank our patron of the week. Do you know who that is, Rob?
I do. I just looked it up, and I wrote down the name earlier. But you know what? I didn't have to really write down this name. If I just close my eyes and I open my heart, this name would automatically appear for me. And that is, well, it's freaking James Fitzgerald. And I just want to tell the world something. You know, like when you hear all these stories of like, oh, this kid's born and they're going to cure cancer, or this kid's going to be the president, and this kid, that is freaking James Fitzgerald. You win at life because your name is James Fitzgerald. I would go up to the biggest bully that I know, and I wouldn't even touch them. I'd just scream my name in their face, and they'd have to be my best friend after that. Your name is James Fitzgerald. That's like awesome. You have one of the coolest names I have ever read in my life. You are the CEO of planet Earth, my friend. Like, I freaking love your name. I absolutely love what you do. I thank you so much for supporting us as a patron. But your name is James Fitzgerald. I bet you piss excellence. I mean, you must be the type of person that just gets stuff done. I want to be in your presence. So that way, if I ever need anything, I can say a pretzel guy's walking by, and it's like, that's $4. Boom, James Fitzgerald. I don't have to pay for anything. It just got taken care of because I can throw out that name. That's what that name represents to me. Freaking awesome name, freaking awesome person. And unless it's Jamie, which I don't think it's Jamie. And if it is Jamie, you, my lady, are amazing. You are absolutely wonderful. For those that know what I'm doing, this is going back a long time ago. I'm trying to be gender neutral. But I really believe it's James. But I freaking love it. I thank you so much. It really means the world to us that you support the podcast. Mm-hmm. And if anybody gives you crap, if anybody says anything, if anybody does anything to you, James, I want you to stop what you're doing. I want you to get that serious look on your face. I want you to look them in the eye and just say your name. And they're going to give you a look at first like, what in the heck is wrong with this guy? But keep the stare going. Eventually, they will stop and do whatever you say. The trance of James Fitzgerald, that trance will take over their being, almost their soul, and just completely overtake them. I want to adopt you just so we could be family, just so I could say, James Fitzgerald. That's who you are. We love you. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. You are definitely an honoree board member of the Wood Cologne factory. I think we have like 10 presidents of that factory now. You can be another president. But that dude, you are definitely a tall redwood cedar in amongst of all the trees that we would chop down for that Cologne factory.
Sweet. Awesome. If you want to support Epic Gaming Night, make sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. We have a behind-the-scenes podcast episode or video episode coming up soon. I think next week we're going to be shooting for our patron hangout episode. So anybody who's in chat that's a patron now, or anybody who's a patron out there, try to get on our Skype next week so that way we can hang out with you and just talk. We're going to be answering questions from you guys, just talking about what games you guys are excited about, and just
we also have some cool ideas for some future Patreon stuff. We were actually talking about it earlier today.
Our next unlock is for us to have a role-playing game episode, and we're thinking about pushing that even maybe a little bit further. So we'll see what goes on with that. So.
And we would love to talk to you guys about it and get your thoughts at the Patreon hangout and stuff like that. So please tune in and let us know what works for you guys.
And the Patreon also allows us to get specific games that you guys vote on and review. And we just shot our review for Century Crystal Golem, and that should be going up on the Dice Tower soon. So we got to shoot that because of you guys, and we're also going to be giving the copy away of that. So next week we will announce the winner for that on the podcast. So super exciting stuff over at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. And we're going to close this thing out. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram if you want to see the pictures of the giant Rhino Hero Super Battle that Rob was building, or pictures of a bunch of other games we're excited about and things we're playing. All sorts of awesome things going on at Epic Gaming Night. But yeah, thanks so much for checking us out, and we'll see you guys next time.
My wife just texted me. She was like, "Please stop yelling." Sorry, got a newborn. Gotta quit yelling. James Fitzgerald, you're awesome. Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
I'm totally leaving that in.
Yeah, I got stop yelling.
5th edition. Let's see. I got my books here that I got But yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's too far off from like I've played a lot of role playing games, so it doesn't seem like it's too far off. I just have to like know the things, and I'm trying to build like a sandboxy type world so we can just go around and do whatever. So
No, see, I'm
super
excited for the
about
world
that.
I'm gonna build.
Well, be thinking about it and be like,
Oh, I've already got ideas. I
Yeah.
already know
Be like-
where I'm gonna go with it. You guys just got to
Make it
tell me
happen.
what my boundaries are.
I think our ideas, if we're gonna do like role playing game stuff, is that we want to like have like one person DM and then like take our same characters into a world of another DM, and then take our same characters from there into a world of another DM, and just like switch off who's telling the story or who's leading the story, because we're all telling a story as a role playing game. So super excited about that. So maybe fun things in the future to come.
Super fun things. Really excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome, guys.
And if it's not my fault.
Well, thanks everybody in chat for hanging out with us. You guys have been great. There was a ton of people in here.
Yeah, we had a good chat group tonight. Hey,
Nice.
I was thinking like we could totally do another top 10 that's a sci-fi themed rather than just space, because there are a lot of games that are
did
sci-fi.
back in the day.
Yeah, but more games have come out since. But we did.
Clink
should probably
in
wait.
Space.
Yeah.
The Clink in Space is good. It didn't make my list though.
What? Which one?
Clink in Space is good, but it didn't make my list though. I think I like Flip Ships more than Clink in Space.
Really?
Clink in Space is good. I don't know. It's fun. It's fine. It's fine.
Look good and die fast. That D&D. No, you guys are gonna die a slow and miserable death. You're gonna be pissed that it takes you so long to die.
You're gonna be
That's
like what's her face trapped in what's the
11
girl's-
in the upside
No,
down.
not 11. The other girl. What's her name?
Oh, Bonnie. No, Betty,
One of the. It's a B
the
name.
redhead. The redhead.
Yeah, trapped in the upside down with slugs coming out of her or something.
See, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. She could come back.
I bet you she probably will. We'll see, dude.
What if
when does
she's
that
like the
start?
huge
When does
monster?
that launch,
Oh, October 27th, I think.
dude?
I'm watching.
How hard
all
do you
that
think
night.
it would be to like have a viewing party?
Oh, it's not gonna be that hard. Just come to my house and sit in my bed with me, because I will be watching that all night.
In your bed, or could we? Do you have
Well-
it set up like in your game room downstairs or anything?
I mean, I could. Yeah, because I have my PlayStation, which has Netflix on
Netflix.
it, so I could just. I could do that,
It'd
but
be fun to just like get a ton of popcorn together and like snacks and just everybody like watch it together. Like how, man, it would have to be like a day long thing. It's probably gonna come out on a weekday and we're all just gonna die. But
no, you guys, I don't care. I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna be hype. Yeah, I'm so excited for Stranger Things season
what
2.
day is that?
I don't know.
What day did
Google
you
it.
say it was?
Just Google. I don't know. I don't have the exact date.
I thought you had the number. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm gonna turn off the stream. You guys are amazing.
Hold on. Before, so we can let everybody in the stream know what day it comes out.
Also, everybody come back next week and talk to us. Who's in chat? Just talk like audibly to us in the Patreon
Right.
hangout. Trevor needs to get on that patron hangout.
A reported 8.2 million people were watching season 1 in the first 16 days.
That's
That's
crazy.
awesome. They completed season. When is it coming out?
Tick tock, tick
October 27th.
tock. Ooh, October 27th. 2nd?
Yes.
7th?
October 27th. What day is that?
Dag. That is a Friday. You're not gonna watch it at midnight, are you?
Oh, bro.
You're gonna watch
Hey,
it
is the
Thursday
patron
night at
hangout
midnight?
going to be the regular Tuesday time?
Say what?
Patron hangout, is that the regular Tuesday time?
That's what we're shooting for. I'm not necessarily as flexible with my schedule as I used to since I
Yes,
started a part-time
everyone
job.
in my bed.
So patron hangout is going to be regular Tuesday time. I'll put a shout out on the actual patron page so that I'll email everybody and let them know. Awesome, guys. See you next time. You guys are the best. Peace.
You guys.